and welcome to the Ketchup Corner. This time we're talking about...
Yes!
This time we are talking about Sesame Street.
Oh, it's not Constantine's time. You said
No.
Sesame Street, not Constantine.
I-
My bad.
That is not the
I
same.
fucked it
They
up.
don't even remotely
Wow.
sound the same.
I know. Would you let me be funny or try to be funny? I'm gonna say try because I already hear someone in the comments going, "You're not funny." But anyways, yeah, Sesame Street. So this is the easiest and the hardest of the bunch. I feel like, other than the Muppet shows that we have an episode for, because it's very easy to sort of graph around like what Sesame Street is about. But it's also hard because there's thousands upon thousands of episodes and specials that, like, we would never have the time. We would have to dedicate maybe, 2-3 years worth, and they're still doing the show as it is, which we'll get into in a minute. Like, there's so much going on, and it's insane to think about, and there's so much that could not go on. Actually, I can't even say could not go on. I think Netflix just picked it up for another season, so... After PBS got defunded by our president-in-chief, Donald Trump. So, yeah, but there's a lot. There's 2 films, too. Well, 2 films that we watched, per se.
Well, 3, because we accidentally impromptu watched the Christmas special.
Well, that's not really a movie. It's more like a special, a VHS special. Well, we'll get to that, too.
Yeah.
But there's 2 official feature films that we watched. And you watched a couple episodes. I know a bunch of it, but let's open up with this really quick. You were a Sesame Street kid.
I was a Sesame Street kid. I loved Sesame Street.
So this is the easiest of the Jim Henson month because you already know a lot about Sesame Street and what it's about, right?
I don't remember, honestly, I didn't remember a lot going in. I remember that I used to love Sesame Street. I had a Tickle Me Elmo, as one did, because Tickle Me Elmo was my favorite thing in the world.
Oh, it's not the thing Chadtronic talked about, right?
No.
Thank goodness. Okay.
But,
the demonic Elmo, yes.
But even just rewatching some episodes for this, it was good to be back.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I wasn't really a Sesame Street kid growing up.
Which is so wild, because I don't know, you just seem like peak Sesame Street kid.
What the hell does that mean?
You seem like you would be obsessed with Elmo.
What makes you say that?
I don't know.
I'm dying to hear what a feeling.
It's just a feeling.
Let me guess. I passed high in the spectrum, right?
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Listen, I was a Sesame Street kid, so it's not like I'm saying anything bad.
No, Sesame Street's fantastic. For the most part. Other than recent events I found out for this episode that we had her watch for Tough Pig. But we'll get to there when we get there. But I rarely watch Sesame. I feel like this is me catching up instead of you, because the only thing I really watched, I remember, was Elmo and Grouchland. We had the VHS tape. Follow That Bird, which I think we had the VHS tape for as well. Elmo Says Boo, which we definitely had the VHS tape for. We'll talk about that. And the Christmas special, which we impromptu watched accidentally when it went on autoplay on YouTube. Yeah. So I didn't really watch a lot of Sesame. Like, I watched some episodes here and there, but for me, it was A Bear in the Big Blue House, Blue's Clues, and then SpongeBob and Pokemon Household, and everything afterwards. So it was mainly my younger sister, I think, that was a Sesame Street kid. So it's wild to think how the tables have turned in regards to the hosts and what they used to like and need to catch up on. So why don't we talk about the easiest thing that we can talk about first? The 2 feature films. Yeah. Let's do it in reverse order. Let's do the films, the specials we watched, and then just the show overall and how it's evolved over the years in thousands upon thousands of episodes of education and humor for kids. So let's start with something concrete, I guess.
I mean, I just want to start by saying in general that rewatching these, so I'm a huge advocate for, as an adult, revisiting past things that just make you happy, because our world is such a shitty place in general.
And it's getting worse.
If you're somebody that needs permission to watch something that seems like it's a little lower than your age range, you have my permission to go and watch Sesame Street, because it is phenomenal.
And you have my permission to punch anyone that tells you otherwise.
Yeah.
To get them out of jail. I mean, there's a YouTuber I watch and a TikToker I follow. Fruit Bats is her name. and she goes to Sesame Street land like all the fucking time in Pennsylvania, I think it is, and she's having the time of her life. So, and she's around our age, I'm pretty sure. So, like, no one's judging her. I mean, if they are judging her, mind your business. But she's literally living her life, and that's a great Muppet creator. She does, like, if you like long-form content, she's been doing season-by-season deep dives into every episode of Fraggle Rock season by season. So great creator there, has her own puppets like it's Jim Henson, so it basically plays on the AVGN Nostalgia Critic type lore and humor, but with Jim Henson puppet formats. So as Binks gets comfortable in his spot next to us, he's tuned in for this episode, just like you guys. But, yeah, I would check her out. Fruit Bats is awesome. She's really fucking cool. Shout out Fruit Bats if you're watching this. So, yeah, let's jump immediately into the more concrete ways. Instead of, let's reverse psychology this. So, the movies. Let's start with the first one, the first ever Sesame Street theatrical film, Follow That Bird, which you had never watched.
I had never watched it, no. I wasn't a big Bird fan.
Yeah?
Which is weird. I feel like I liked Elmo and Bert and Ernie more than Big Bird.
That's a lot of our generation, though, I feel like. I mean, like, what is it called? You look at our generation, I mean, Mad TV, the Mad cartoon on Cartoon Network, if you remember that, a lot of parodies of Sesame Street, including that one, used to portray Big Bird as like this dictator / secret villain of the world. You know what I mean?
Which is so sad because that's not who Big Bird is.
He's one of the more innocent ones in retrospect, honestly.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I mean, yeah, he's an 8-foot tall bird, which if you don't know what Follow That Bird is, it follows Big Bird. And basically we open with like a council of birds who are trying to place other birds into a home that's more suited for them by placing them with other birds, basically. Yeah. It's interesting because Big Bird's not looking for a home. He has a home on Sesame Street, but they kind of like swoop in and they're like,
swoop! Okay, carry on.
They kind of swoop in and they're like, we want to place you with this family of birds because we think you'll be happier there.
You got to be specific. Dodo birds. And can we say this on the platform? But like, but Bert, you texted me when I was on my walk today while you were watching it. These birds are.
They think that birds.
Racket.
Yeah, they think
Racketism.
That birds are meant to live with other birds.
Yeah,
and
put it that way.
You can't be friends with other kinds.
Non-birds.
Non-birds. It's really interesting.
Like the Dodo family specifically is like very anti-non-bird.
Yeah, because Big Bird is talking about his friend Snuffleupagus. Mm-hmm. And he's saying like, oh, he's my best friend. Like, I want him to come visit. And they're like, you need to make friends with your own kind. And that immediately makes Big Bird say, nope, I'm out of here. And he runs away. Like,
literally runs away. So what was your first impression of Follow That Bird? What did you like? Did you like it at all?
I did like it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cute. It was an adventure, definitely. And I liked that Big Bird kind of went on this quest. He definitely has limited brain cells, but we all know I love a character with limited brain cells.
This movie has that classic Sesame Street humor that blends with classic Muppet humor before it feels like both segued into their own thing. My favorite joke I remember is Kermit the Frog doing an announcement, and he's talking, and he's like, hi-oh, Kermit the Frog here, and he's like, reading the note that Big Bird left the Dodo family, and he's like, I will be in Sesame Street within 3 hours. It should be 3 walking, considering it took us 2 to fly there. And I'm like, oh no. So and like everyone in Sesame Street's just quietly panicking, I noticed. I'm like,
yeah.
So that was funny as hell. I think there was a lot of classic humor in there, which is interesting because I feel like there's an overarching theme we could talk about with Sesame Street going forward when we talk about the future of Sesame Street in regards to like their education.
Yeah.
Because I won't say the bird theme was on point and on purpose, but I'm gonna say it's on purpose, and we'll get to that when we talk about the show itself and its evolution. So let's talk about back to the movie. How was it? Like, give me your thoughts on everything.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't think I liked it as much as Elmo and Grouchland, but that might have to do with my nostalgia.
Probably. But I mean, both are good films.
But both are really, really good films. I think if you're a Sesame Street fan, or even if you're not, you could enjoy this one.
I feel like this is something like Sesame Street always has definitely gears towards early kids for a reason.
Yeah, but I feel like it's also more of a sorry not to cut you off.
No.
I feel like it's more of a family show, and there's a difference between kids shows and shows that are catered towards family.
And that's the thing I'm going to say about this, especially the classic one, because Follow That Bird has the humor and the drive, and even Elmo and Grouchland, which we'll get to in a minute, where like the humor even adults will get. And, like, if you're we'll get to, I know.
We'll get to that one.
You already know where I'm going with that. But, like, Follow That Bird, but, like, the 2-hour thing, the 3-hour thing, like, of Big Bird walking, that's funny as hell.
That's fun, yeah.
The dodo birds and, like, Kermit just looking going, who would ever run away from a family like that? Like, genuinely, it's got that witty humor that, like, I feel like adults will appreciate as well. And again, it's that weird blend of the classic Muppets and classic Sesame Street humor before it feels like they diverted into different things, where the Muppets tried every other humor and Sesame Street stayed strictly where they are.
Yeah, this is good, like, classic TV show humor. Not, like, humor from, like, nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
But
even
humor
Sesame Street now, even.
Yeah, humor that adults and children, like, adults will be laughing at and children are going to laugh at because their parents are laughing.
And everybody's likable in this, in my opinion, you know? Everybody has a great role to play to some degree. Who's your favorite character of the bunch? Was it Big Bird?
Bert and Ernie.
Oh,
I love Bert and Ernie, always.
The plane scenes were fucking hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
I love Bert and Ernie so much.
Yeah.
So...
Though I do really hope that Ernie is paying Bert's therapy bills.
Yeah, you would think. I'm paying in rubber duckies, Bert. Ernie, that's not going to pay the bills. Oh, you're right, Bert. Let's give away these pigeons, Bert. No! So, in that regard, I want to talk about how I pitched this movie to you, and I want to see if it's accurate to you still.
Okay.
We talked about the Sesame Street stuff and what you need to do for homework, because she came to me for homework and everything. I mentioned Follow That Bird, and the way I described it is Appa's Lost Days. From Avatar The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Is that pretty accurate?
It is and it isn't, because Big Bird didn't get kidnapped until most of the way through the movie.
Yeah, but even then, that's like that was like Appa's second kidnapping, though.
Yeah.
But like this follows somebody trying to get home while his home is looking for him, and paths diverge, but nobody does it. And then there's a weird kidnapping where the animal gets the animal star gets kidnapped and turned into a circus attention, and some kids rescue him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that is literally Appa's Lost Days from Avatar The Last Airbender to a fucking T.
Yeah.
They even painted Big Bird blue. And they gave Appa like lipstick and all that other shit.
Poor Big Bird.
So that's an actually interesting one. The musical numbers in this. What'd you think?
I thought they were kind of about. I was gonna say I don't think I enjoyed them as much as Elmo and Grouchland, but I feel like both had really good songs.
They have different vibes.
All of them were bops.
What about Big Bird's sad song?
They made me sad.
Yeah, all the kids were like, this isn't happy.
He seems pretty sad. Yeah, no shit.
That's so fucking funny to me. He seems sad.
Yeah, it definitely seems sad. No
Point on the chart what sad is. So, okay, is there anything you didn't like about Follow That Bird? Because again, this is the first theatrical film for Sesame Street. So this was like testing grounds, essentially.
I don't think there was anything that I didn't like about it.
Yeah. Any characters you feel like should have had more shine even?
No, I feel like everybody got like a good amount of screen time.
Yeah.
I did think it was a little weird, like the way it was set up though, because it's never really explained why these birds are looking for a new home for him, or like other birds when they didn't like ask to be rehomed.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, though, because they're a society that's supposed to help. And I feel like I agree where it's not set up properly, in my opinion.
It seems like a weird setup. Like, how did they hear about Big Bird? How do they know, like, he
after all these years,
how do they know he doesn't live with other birds?
Or are there that many birds that are seriously mishomed that they finally caught up to Big Bird? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's never really explained. But other than that, I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I think it was a fun time, and I think having Miss Finch and that bird society be the villain was about as great of a villain as you can get for an early kid show turned movie. Which brings us to the next villain, if you're done with Follow That Bird.
I'm done with Follow That Bird.
All right, Elmo and Grouchland. I watched this one more by a mile, too. Oh my god, I think I agree. I like this one better.
I do like this one better. First of all, this was my childhood. I rewatched this movie over and over again. And then rewatching it now as an adult, I'm like, I didn't remember 90% of this.
I seriously forgot half of it, and it's like an acid trip.
It really is.
Weird. Like, there's a singing plant telling Elmo, you gotta take your first steps. And it's like, and you're seeing Elmo full body, just splitting his bones, moving his fucking hips and wiggling like, yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? You should never see Elmo full body for this long. And I feel like that's a Muppet rule. If you see the Muppets full body for more than half the film, or more than like maybe a minute or two at a time without like cutting to another scene, it's so weird.
Yeah, so we'll explain what this one's about. This movie is basically about sharing.
It really is.
Literally what
sharing
the main
movie.
Theme is. So we follow Elmo, and he has his blankie. He's obsessed with his blankie. They are best friends. Literally, the opening musical number is about how they're best friends.
Together forever, and all that shit.
And then he bumps into Zoe, who also wants to feel his blanket, and like she doesn't really want to let go of it, and Elmo becomes possessive, and they end up ripping it, which ends up the blanket ends up going on this whole adventure, and they end up in Oscar's trash can, which leads to Grouchland.
What a fucking turn of events, man. Weird as shit.
And we end up running into a bushy-eyebrowed Mandy Patinkin.
What a guy. What a legend. He was stingy from Lazy Town. No, let me finish. He was stingy from Lazy Town before stingy from Lazy Town was a thing. He walked so Stingy could run and say that his walk, that Husker's walk, was Stingy's all along. That's literally it.
Which, if you don't know who Mandy Patinkin is, he is an actor who played Inigo in The Princess Bride.
Yep.
And Gideon on Criminal Minds. Literally love that man as an actor. He does not look good with those eyebrows. And I know it's the point, but it's like Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion with the blonde bowl cut.
It in character.
Bad. It looks bad.
It's in character. It's accurate.
I know it's supposed to be accurate, but it looks bad, and we all know
that's the point.
I know it's the point, but I'm still going to comment on it.
But it's so funny because I remember his first few scenes. I feel like he kept it together. He's a great actor. He couldn't keep a straight face for that first scene or two.
No, like, because it's so ridiculous.
I really, like, he got better as the movie went on, I noticed, but, like, the first few scenes, his mouth was twitching so fucking bad. Every 5 seconds, I'm like, this dude can't keep a straight face for the life of him. It's mine!
Yeah. Basically, he takes everything that he can put his hands on, and he ends up taking Elmo's blankie, and so Elmo has to find a way to get his blanket back by going through Grouchland. And it's basically just one fever dream after another, including the Trash Queen.
Yep.
And talking plants.
The cave. That was basically just Donkey Kong Country.
Literally.
With the cart.
Elmo's first roller coaster.
Yeah, the giant chicken that tried to fucking eat him and then realized he wasn't a fucking worm and threw him to what could be his demise.
What did he think he was?
He was tea.
He was tea because he was a teapot, and he can't eat teapots because he hasn't had his dinner yet, so he threw Elmo.
Yeah, because Elmo was trying to get him to put him down by doing the teapot song and tip him over. Which was voiced by Dave Goelz, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I recognize that voice as Dave Goelz, right. A.k.a. Boober. I think I can hear it in there. I'm pretty sure. But it's such a weird dream. But honestly, I think I have this. Maybe it's my bias watching it a lot as a kid too. But I think I have this over Follow That Bird too.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think that's because, and we always credit other shows for how our humor turns out. I think the earliest example for me is this movie. And can I explain this one or should I? Okay, so there are moments where Bert and Ernie are breaking the fourth wall, interrupting the movie, and Bert's just an anxiety-riddled bitch. First of all, Bert's probably the reason why I have anxiety so much and don't trust movies.
Because leave him alone.
Every 5 minutes he goes, stop the film. And Ernie's like, dude, what's wrong? And he's like, this is sad. How's he doing this to Elmo? And Bernie's like, well, gee, Bert, I don't know. Maybe you should fucking sit down. And, like, there's a whole point where, like, during the climax, after Elmo's about to give up after the chicken flung him far away, where Ernie's like, oh, there's still time. There's no such thing as a sad... Who would want to watch a sad film? And Bert just looks up, turns deadpan, and goes, Titanic. Titanic had a sad ending, Ernie. If you're somehow not caught in the loop, I'm going to get really close to the mic for this. Titanic was based on a real-life Titanic tragedy where many people died.
Oh my god.
Like,
I think we looked at each other and we just paused for a minute and we were like, literally,
you were pissing
mouth
yourself.
Open,
I was like,
wide-eyed, staring at each other.
I was about to go.
We just broke out laughing.
I was gonna go for my walk to get us some caffeine from a local tea place we go to, and fucking, I just pop in the doorway and I go, did I just hear that right? I'm like, Bert? She's pissing herself. Had to pause the movie. I'm like, Bert? Excuse me? There's a lot of things I don't remember from this movie with hidden details. For example, fucking Elmo having a Tiger Williams poster in his bed.
Woods.
Oh, Tiger Woods, sorry. The golfer, I looked and I was sitting there and I was like, is that fucking Tiger Woods? And she's like, uh-huh. And I'm like, what's he doing here? Like that? I don't remember the trash queen being as attractive as she was, quite frankly.
Vanessa Williams. I'm pretty sure that's who that is.
Yeah. Like, I don't remember her being attractive. I thought that was a puppet for some reason.
Nope.
Oh, no, wait, now I'm remembering more. But, like, she was hot as fuck for being trash. Let's just put it that way. And then the fucking Titanic, I was like, what the fuck? Straight up, I'm like, what is this? Like, I think Adventures in Grouchland has the most our generation humor and, like, because I don't think anyone else would be laughing their ass off at this land where everyone's singing this happy song and it's supposed to be great, but the deep undertone is just fuck you, get out of our place.
Yeah.
Which
is hilarious. I love that it's set in Grouchland.
Let's all give them some thank you notes. Airmail, and they start throwing shit at Elmo, and he goes, Elmo can't read.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, this poor kid's getting berated by these citizens, and it's the funniest thing in the world
and
because
Oscar
relatable.
Thinks the whole thing is hilarious.
Oh my god, like, not to be like political, I guess. Well, too late anymore. But like, not to be political, but they had the most lore accurate cops in history, where basically they go to fucking, you can't ask for help in Grouchland.
Yeah, it's illegal to ask for help in Grouchland.
That's lore accurate.
Lore accurate.
I'm just gonna say it. Asking for help lands you in jail. Lore accurate police force, Your Honor. But I was like, what the hell? Fucking Cookie Monster is a mood. He's like, me innocent, get me out of here.
Poor Cookie Monster.
He is innocent. He wasn't there when Big Bird and Zoe asked for help. He got roped into this.
He just wanted his cookies, and the poor guy kept losing his cookies.
It was like the fucking Hawaiian slushy dude in Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Like that guy. Like the shaved ice guy. I couldn't believe that. But I will say this about Grouchland. Is there anything you think that, Follow That Bird does better that Grouchland doesn't? At all. I'm dying to hear your thoughts because I have my answer.
No, I don't think so. I think they're pretty even. I liked the songs in both.
They are different moods, but they're good. This is more soulful, a lot of them.
I liked I think I might like the human actors in Grouchland over...
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, Maria's a mood.
I mean, yeah, but she's in everything. I mean, like, the more guest stars.
Oh,
like,
yes, that's true. Yeah, they are better in this one, I will say.
Yeah.
So here's my answer. I think the camera work and the practical effects are better in Follow That Bird than in Grouchland. And it comes back to the fact that Elmo full body, or any of them full body, is weird as shit.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's so weird and off-putting.
So there's a scene that Benson was talking about with the plant and how we see, like, Elmo dancing and starting to walk. And it seemed like, to me, and I know you said it looked like, what did it look like?
CGI.
Claymation.
Oh, and stop motion, yes.
To me, it seemed like they filmed the scene with all of the other puppets minus Elmo, and then made it green screen,
right?
And then put Elmo in after the fact, which was really off-putting and not something I think you would notice if you were a little kid watching this.
Yeah.
It's definitely something you notice as an adult.
I think now it's like, I think the budget was, again, I could be wrong. I think the production making it look right was better in Follow That Bird, which was a couple movies before. Meanwhile, like, the practical effects for the sets themselves are great. Anything involving, like, some weird CGI stuff or even, like, you know, green screening stuff in just felt off. But I think that's because this was meant to be more TV, like a TV film. But this was in theaters too, I think, is the thing.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, which is wild to think about, considering this bombed at the box office. It didn't even make half its budget back, I think.
Which is weird. And
it was the only family film playing at that time, during the holidays, I think. At that point in time, not the holidays, but I think at that time in the year. So it had a great layup, it just didn't make it back. It didn't even make half of it back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie for what it's worth. It is sharing the movie, which is thematically, I feel like, less interesting than Follow That Bird's
finding family
and that undertone the movie.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. But I feel like that's just Sesame Street's versatility, which we'll get into when we talk about the show, where they're able to tackle so many interesting themes for kids, where if one isn't understood by one kid, there's another that, like, sharing is the basic fundamental. So it's interesting to me. But I do think this is a great film, humor and song-wise. I really like all the songs for it. And I think, again, all the characters are great. Zoe is...
I know, you don't like Zoe.
Listen, I want to like Zoe. I'm sorry. Elmo is not innocent either, obviously, in this situation. Or in a lot of situations. But Zoe, I swear to fucking God... Sometimes it's just like, and I understand this is supposed to be kids, but even then, I'll say this about kids. What an asshole. What are her parents doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, we find out in this film, they're working all the time. She was supposed to go to the aquarium the zoo with her dad that day, and he had to work. So they're just working away and not parenting their kid, and she's going around stealing people's shit.
She did not steal the blanket. She just wanted to cuddle with it for a second.
She didn't ask. She gave no permission. And it's the same thing with, like, a lot of other points that Zoe does. Like, their back and forth is crazy. I'm sure she's a great character in many other instances, but the many instances I've seen throughout my life, I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan. I understand the hype. Not for me. Shout out to the Count, though. Shout out Cookie Monster. Those guys get it. But anything else for Grouch Land?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay, so let's we'll get to the show, but let's do one last in-between, and let's cross the roads between movies and TV show and talk about the two specials we watched.
Yes.
In the late 90s, there were a lot of VHS tapes that were being pushed around that have different specials on them. The two that we watched were from my childhood, Elmo Saves Christmas and Elmo Says Boo. So Elmo Says Boo was predominant in my childhood, and it's one of the more interesting ones of the specials because I never saw Elmo Size or The Dancing One or Ernie Teaches Counting, even though I wanted to find those VHS tapes as a kid. I don't know how much they blended the old skits and scenes from Sesame Street with new footage, but in Elmo Says Boo, it was about as close to Sesame Street show as I was going to get without watching the episodes because in between the Count and Elmo doing their jokes in the Count's castle, which is the main plot for that, they showed old footage and old scenes that related to, like, scary quote-unquote vibes, like the monster songs, Elmo and Julia Roberts teaching you about being scared, and they're visibly, like, without even hearing the voices, the camera work and the camera quality are visibly from the earlier years compared to then.
Yes.
So let's go with Elmo Says Boo first, because that's the easiest of the two. What did you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of really bad dad jokes, but I can appreciate a good dad joke.
Oh my God. It's a great special in retrospect. It dominated my TV on Halloween especially. Not that, and also, like, the VHS, I don't know if we made it or if it was already made for us, but it was all the Halloween specials from Disney Channel at the time, like Bear, Roly Poly Oly, and such. I gotta see if we still have that somewhere in the house. But that used to be dominant a lot. I could see you want to know what scared the hell out of me as a kid? I've been hyping this up. So I used to be a big scaredy bitch when I was a kid, and this thing gave me nightmares. Take a guess out of everything in that fucking Count's castle that scared the piss out of me as a kid.
Was it the painting?
No.
Really?
It was the fucking dumbass ghost.
The ghost?
It's the stupid ass ghost, which is just a sheet with eyes and a blue tongue. Something about the way it looks at you with dead eyes like a serial killer and floats around going, "Ugh," during the credits just scared the piss out of me. What? I don't know. But that ghost haunted my dreams for a while. The painting, yeah, the Grown Elisa definitely did for a while too. The skeleton? I was chill with the skeleton. Which, by the way, why does the Count have a skeleton?
I mean, maybe he's counting bones.
Where did he get it? He's not a doctor. That's what I'm bringing up here. He's not a doctor, he's a Count.
I don't know.
What is he doing with somebody's desecrated body and tickling their rib cages to the point when he's counting the bones to go,
Maybe he was trying to count how many bones were in the human body.
Okay.
And maybe he has a friend who's a doctor. We don't know.
Okay. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
He likes to count, right?
Uh-huh.
If he ever gets caught with that skeleton, he's going to be counting how many felony charges he has. I'm telling you.
But why would he show it to Elmo if he got it through nefarious acts?
Elmo's a kid. He won't question it. He didn't even know what a skeleton was. Okay? He's torturing this poor kid in his house of horrors.
Oh my god.
Like, this poor kid.
Leave the Count alone.
No, the Count in this special, I like the Count. In this special, he was low-key shady. You're inviting this kid who came in without his parents in this weird part of whatever, okay, with these scary settings. You invite him into your house, and then when the door opens by itself and almost second-guessing it, you know what you do? You grab him by the back of his neck and go, "Let's go, my friend," and slam the door. Watch the footage. He literally doesn't guide him by, like, the hip. He grabs the back of his fucking neck and goes, "Come, my friend."
Yeah.
And then the skeleton comes out, and he's like, "This thing here liked your joke." And he's like, "Yeah, that's my skeleton right there." And didn't second guess it. Didn't second guess it. And then it's just laughing away as the skeleton slapping poor Elmo while pissing himself. He can't piss, he's a skeleton. Like, the Count was shady in this special. I hate to say it. I love the Count. He was shady as fuck in this special. I did like the fact we got a really cool look at his castle. Yeah. Really cool.
My favorite part were, so like in between, there are these sections where different puppets are coming on and they're telling jokes to some like real life kids, and oh my god, those kids are like really bad at pity laughing, because you could tell that's exactly what it was, because they would just take a second and then they would be like
and the puppeteers would try to interact normally. The only normal interaction was Nikki and the two monkeys.
Yeah, so like at the end, like this monkey doesn't laugh, he just holds his head.
He literally rolls his eyes
and holds his head.
And the puppeteer monkeys are like slamming themselves against the wall, thinking it's the funniest thing in the world. And I was
like, you know what? I appreciate that kid, because at least he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
At least he's honest.
He is honest. So it's a nice special, though. This is something that blends both old and new. Like, yes, half of it is old skits, but it's comforting in a way. It's very comforting. It's very nice. You still liked it, at least?
I liked it.
Yeah. I feel like they could have done, like, a whole original special in that castle.
They could have.
And I don't know if they've done it in the future. Again, thousands of episodes, so don't crucify me, Sesame Street Fan Club on Reddit.com. But I feel like you could do a whole special in that castle with the ghost and Grown Elisa and the suit of armor and the bats again, and you got a hit. Like, especially back then, you got a hit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we went from one holiday. There was one holiday. And that was actually, I forgot to mention that in the Halloween special, that I think that Elmo Says Boo was a part of my Halloween watching. So we went from one. Let's go to the opposite end with an upcoming holiday, Elmo Saves Christmas. Take the reins on this one.
I love Christmas. So we accidentally watched this one. I think we put on
Elmo Says
Boo. And then it kind of auto-played into a Christmas one, and we were going to get ready to go out. It's date night. So we went out for a little bit, but before that, we just ended up sitting down and watching the entire Christmas special on accident. And then we went out for date night.
It was an hour-long special. Care to explain what this special is about?
It is a Christmas special, so it's all about how Elmo saves Christmas after he kind of ruins it.
Yes. He fixes his own mistakes.
Yeah, he fixes his own mistakes. So Elmo saves Santa
from being stuck
in the chimney.
Yep.
And in return, he gets a snow globe where he gets 3 wishes. And
my favorite genie is Santa Claus.
He uses the first wish to get a glass of water. Because he was thirsty.
Stupid fucking kid.
And then his second wish he uses to make it Christmas every day.
Now, the caveat to this is it's not like Groundhog Day, where the day repeats itself. It's Christmas every day, no matter the season, no matter if there's another holiday interlooping. It goes year fucking round. So...
yeah. So he pretty much, Santa comes and says, like, oh, this isn't really a good idea. And Elmo's like, what are you talking about? This is, like, the best thing ever. And so Santa comes up with a way to make him see the error of his ways. And ultimately, Elmo saves Christmas.
He does. Through time travel.
I
wish we were kidding. There's this deer lightning that moves faster than the speed of light. And he could travel forward in time, which is how they did it. It's like this weird in-between of, you know... what is it? Charles Dickens. Oh my god.
A Christmas Carol?
A Christmas Carol. I blanked on the name. I've seen so many iterations. Okay. Christmas Carol and Groundhog Day. It's a weird in-between where, like, technically instead of 3 spirits, Elmo visits 3 Christmases and they gradually get worse and worse and worse. And he learns the true meaning of Christmas, with the theme of Groundhog Day being every day is technically Christmas. It's a weird blend. And I don't know how many things do I wish it was Christmas every day like that and not just repeating the day itself. But I really like this special.
I did too. I did think it was interesting because people kept on saying, oh, you can't work on Christmas, and that inevitably led to the disaster we saw at the end. You can totally work on Christmas. I've done it.
I've done it too.
You've done it.
I'm doing it this year. That's my fucking birthday, and I'm working it.
It's your birthday.
I'm working it this year, but you know what? Capitalism stops for nobody, and when you're shorthanded, sadly. Thanks, guys. But
if you want to work on Christmas, you run your own shop. No one's saying you can't work on Christmas. No one's going to arrest you for working on Christmas. Thousands of people do it every year.
And it's not like, you know, like we said, the day was repeating itself. It was just Christmas every day. 4th of July, Christmas. Easter, Christmas. Spring, Christmas. Summer, Christmas. Fall, Christmas. Winter, Christmas.
Yeah.
So it was literally like just Christmas spirit every day. So nothing stopped these people from ever not opening their business. They chose to. They ruined capitalism.
The only one I felt bad for was Big Bird.
Yeah.
And that's because his best friend went to go visit his aunt for Christmas.
Snuffleupagus.
Yes. And he was my favorite character when I was a kid.
He was great. So, yeah. I like Snuffy.
And so he went to go visit his aunt for Christmas, and it was only supposed to be, or grandma or someone.
No, it was grandma. It was grandma.
For Christmas. And it was only supposed to be for the one day, but because Christmas never ended, he never came home.
Yep. And they had a whole song where Big Bird's talking on the phone, and he's like, man, I would send these letters, but nobody works on Christmas. Which is true. Federal employees typically don't work on Christmas, so. Yeah. But... yeah, you felt bad. I mean, I felt bad for fucking Count, too. He lost the spirit to count.
He lost the spirit to count.
Which is wild to me. He's like, I fucking can't do it. I've had enough Christmases already.
I don't want to count any more Christmases.
Dude was losing it. So what did you think of this one?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot of good characters. Other than that minor complaint of, don't tell me Christmas is running your business into the ground because no one's saying you can't open your own business.
Yeah, Maria.
On Christmas. You definitely could have opened your own business. There's no reason you needed to put an out of business sign on your self-owned business.
Yeah, Maria. Your fucking toaster fixing business, Maria.
Yeah.
You could have fixed those toasters, Maria.
You definitely
Just saying, woman.
Yep.
Love you to death, but really, Maria? But, okay, so here's my biggest question. What do you think of the musical numbers from these? Were they good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I preferred the Christmas one, but obviously because I prefer Christmas to Halloween.
Yep.
Because I am a huge Christmas person.
She is.
I love Christmas. Why do you think I'm engaged to someone whose birthday is on Christmas?
Well, it ain't because my stroke game's good. That's for sure. I'm kidding. You don't get to know that detail about my life. It ain't because I'm a nice person. It's either Christmas or because I'm funny, as you can hear. So, it's one or the other. Could be both.
It Could be both.
Could be both. But it is a good film. What'd you think of Lightning the Reindeer?
I liked Lightning. I think it's funny because it's definitely a take on Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
Where Santa doesn't think he's good enough to join his team yet, and then all of a sudden he saves the day at the end, and now, of course, he is. But it's cute. I liked it.
Santa was a mood.
But, like, originally, if you knew he was the fastest reindeer of your bunch, why not put him on your team, right?
I think it's because he's, like, clumsy or young.
But he's not clumsy. He's not that clumsy if he can...
He crash-landed twice.
Times.
Well, yeah, he transcended time, but he can't transcend a safe landing.
Listen.
It took 3 tries.
Well, he's doing
and an
his
encounter
best.
with a cigarette-smoking bunny.
So then he needs training.
Okay, that's fair.
If you don't put in time, effort, and train him...
Yes, Santa.
He's not going to get better.
You fraud.
You know there's potential there.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, actually, really quick. Side note, speaking of weird factor, the Easter Bunny. Oh, my God. This is like the moment with Bert and the Titanic. Because I perked my head up. I knew there was an Easter Bunny. I forgot how deep his voice was.
Yeah, he plays, I forget.
Lao
in Mulan. And then the brother in Mrs. Doubtfire, the one who does his makeup.
Yes.
So like that, like husky smoker's voice.
It's because of like a genetic thing, I think. Like a vocal. It's like Alex Brightman, who plays Beetlejuice in the Beetlejuice musicals and plays a bunch of characters in that show. What is it? Has Been Hotel. Like he's able to do these voices because of a vocal condition that lets him stay in character and like project like he does. It's a different condition, obviously, but it's the same idea where like it's such an iconic voice you cannot miss because of that genetic mutation, essentially. And he's fucking. Like, literally, we're like, wow, spring and Easter. And then you hear this husk voice, like, selling cigarettes, but it's Christmas eggs. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, he's basically trying to get them to give Easter eggs as Christmas gifts so that Easter doesn't become obsolete.
And I looked and I was like, I don't remember the chain-smoking bunny. And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, oh, no, he wasn't here. I didn't realize that was the same guy as Lao from Mulan. So that's interesting. He was funny as hell, though. That was the most random thing ever, and I'm glad they got the right person for the role.
Yeah.
Because it makes it so much better. If you got a regular voiced Easter Bunny, it would not have been as funny as hell. I think that was a genius move right there. He's such a good actor, too. He really is. But it's a good special, though. I feel like, okay, I don't know if you agree. I feel like it gets lost in the themes of why Christmas every day is a bad idea until the end.
I feel like that's because Elmo didn't really understand until the end.
Which is fair. Like, we see all these discombobulated reasons on why, and the Christmas every day is bad, but the main thing I feel like you're taking away is because people can't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's literally what it is, and
It's weird. As two people that are forced in customer service while hoping this stuff works and our dreams work, it was weird. It's super weird. And like then at the end when I forget her name is telling the story to Terry Monster and Baby Bear and everybody there, she was like, "You can keep the spirit all year round." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Wait, what about the work?" I'm like, "You spent most of the fucking special saying because no one can work." I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like
it's weird.
Like
to spend the whole movie saying like it's bad because people can't work or go to school, and then for it to be like it doesn't have to be Christmas all year round, but you can still keep the Christmas spirit alive. You didn't mention that once throughout the movie, but now you're talking about it.
Right. Like the most we got was Big Bird missing Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Everyone else was like, "Oh, I can't fix this toaster because I'm too busy buying gifts." Oh, I can't see. Even Big Bird was like, "I can't see my friend because the federal workers aren't work." Like, I get it. Yeah. I hate capitalism, but in a capitalistic society, I get on that value why that's the point. But fuck, I forgot that was a main driving point in this special.
Yeah, to say like you can't go to school is one thing because you don't go to school on Christmas.
Yeah.
But you can work on Christmas, I promise.
Oh, for sure.
It's an option.
Half of this audience, I'm sure, can promise that too. But like, I just found it so funny. I was like, what the hell? But other than that, I think it's a good special. Do you have anything to add for that?
No, I think you're 100% right. I agree.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot more agreeing on this podcast than we normally do.
Wow, Sesame Street really does bring people together, doesn't
Aww.
it? Traversing themes, which, if there's nothing else from you, brings us to the last part. We've arrived. The show itself. Take it away.
Okay. I loved this show when I was younger, obviously. And I feel like even now, so if you have not heard already, I talk about it all the time, I work with preschool kids. My kids are 3 to 5, and I have one girl especially, obviously I'm not going to talk about her into detail, but she loves Sesame Street. And we'll be working together or working on something, and like part of our curriculum, because she likes to work with an iPad, we also will work with the iPad, and sometimes we'll watch Sesame Street episodes.
We should probably mention kids on the spectrum.
Yes.
That's very important to the iPad thing, because there are modules that are a part of the school district that for kids on the spectrum. Yes.
But we'll watch some episodes of Sesame Street, and it's really fun because like getting to interact with her and like watching characters that I knew from when I was younger, and like getting to see a whole new generation experience some old and new characters. Like I'll sit there and look at the screen and point and say, oh, who's this character? And she'll say, Cookie Monster. Or I'll point to another character and she'll be like, Abby, duh. And like she's so sassy about it. It's so cute. But like just getting to see how Sesame Street has transcended beyond generations. It's over thousands of episodes long, and it's still going. And
despite efforts to shut it down.
It's really funny and phenomenal, and like getting those moments with the kids that I am teaching is just amazing.
And it's interesting because the mainstays that are there, like the Count, all of them, like you can't get rid of the main audience, obviously, but they've added one or two that are now mainstays in Sesame Street lore. I feel like that help run themes into it of like togetherness and family. Abby Cadabby, you just mentioned Abby. She came into Sesame Street when we were young kids, early teens. So we were pretty much jumping ship from Sesame Street onto other things at that point. But the next generation after us got to meet Abby Cadabby, and she got to be a huge part of everything.
Yeah, she's a great character. I do like Abby. I like her a lot.
I feel like, and this might be controversial, I feel like she's the better version of what Zoe wants to be.
I agree.
I see it.
Do you know what she reminds me of? And oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. There was a Disney Shorts thing. Johnny and the Sprites?
Yes!
Johnny and the Sprites. She reminds me of something that should have been in that show.
Oh, I love Johnny and the Sprites when I was a kid. They made a whole show out of that. It wasn't just shorts. They made full episodes.
I thought it was just a short.
I think they made whole episodes eventually.
I loved that show.
Oh, what a show.
But she reminds me of something that would have been there.
For sure. So that brings, like, transcending generations. That brings us to the main point. Obviously, with the catch-up corner, we're catching up on all things Jim Henson. Catching up on Sesame Street, again, is like the most impossible of the bunch. It's always continuing, but we can still talk about how it's evolved thematically. Sesame Street is a publicly broadcasted PBS show for a lot of its time, and it's an educational show for early kids. Some families can maybe take away a thing or two as well. They have evolved so much from just ABC's 1, 2, 3s and healthy food. Like, remember that song Cookie Monster sang about healthy food?
Yeah.
Does anyone remember that phase? Weird choice, but it worked in a way, I guess. It got people to pay attention.
For a while, he went from Cookie Monster to Veggie Monster.
I mean, they joke about it now, but it was a thing that technically did get attention, so it worked on that regard. But Sesame Street, in my opinion, tackles some of the biggest subject matters the best for early kids. One of the earliest examples right away, Mr. Hooper's death.
I know I rewatched that for this, and even though I didn't really remember Mr. Hooper, I was crying. I feel like I was a really empathetic kid. Like anytime I would see other people cry, even if I didn't know what was going on, I would cry too. And I'm still that way as an adult, but like I think I'm a little bit better about it now. Like I'll try not to cry, but I'm emotional. So it happens.
Oh, I cry a lot more than I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I went through a phase where I thought it was not okay to show your emotions, but now I get to cry all the time in my media. Kingdom Hearts, baby. But Hooper's death is the biggest one.
Yeah.
One of the earliest examples that I can think of, you know? And then there was the episode right after 9/11 they did.
I did not rewatch that one.
I remember it well, where, like, there was a fire in the store, and, like, Elmo's scared to hell and back. And, like, it's a serious thing that, like, Sesame Street was ready to tackle, whether it was because of 9/11. I think it was especially because of 9/11, or whether it just conveniently fell into place with 9/11. But they were ready in there. And obviously there was a lot of things they've taught when we were kids, not just ABC's 1, 2, 3s, like I said. But I feel like this current iteration, from looking in as a bystander that doesn't watch it, obviously, looking in, because I follow Tough Pigs, which is a nice little entertainment Muppet-based thing from Muppet fans and, like, Jim Henson fans. Great stuff. Looking in at what they talk about and what they show for Sesame Street over the years in groundbreaking news, I feel like education, now that they're not being afraid to tackle this stuff, is better. Like, we've had, I'll let you handle this one first and your feelings on it. The autism representation. Julia.
Okay, I'm really glad we're talking about this one. This is something that I really wanted to talk about here. And so I watched, it's like a 10-minute clip of them introducing Julia, who Julia is, and like kind of little things about her and how she's different from some people. Like Big Bird's having a really hard time understanding Julia. And so his friends are trying to explain to him that Julia learns a little bit differently and she might not react the way that you expect someone to react. And I like when, especially in something that I'm really glad was said in this episode, is Big Bird asks what autism is. And the person that's answering him, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's like, well, for Julia, this is what it means. And I feel like that sentence alone,
that's huge.
Is huge, because autism is such a personal experience to each kid. I work with 10 different children, and not one of them are the same as the other. They all have different characteristics, all have different traits, even though most, if not all of them, are somewhere on the spectrum, because autism is such a personal experience. Like, right. You might have similar traits to somebody else, but no two are quite the same. Mm-hmm. And I think that's amazing that even just with that one simple sentence, it truly showed how much care went into this character and in this episode.
They also had the fire truck passing by that stimulated her.
The loud noises and...
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Yeah.
And there's another skit, too, where I think the family's in a restaurant and the food's taking forever. Oh, it's Grover is the waiter, actually, of all people.
Of course.
And they're at a pizza place. And, like, Grover's messing up the pizza, and it's frustrating. And it's obviously because Grover's fucking crazy. And it's just goofy antics. But, like, Julia's getting overstimulated and antsy because she's getting hungry and it's stimulating her. So the father and the family are participating together in grounding techniques, which are good, like, deep breathing, just to name one of them. So for like 3 different techniques, we're going through this as it gets worse for Julia. And this is a while after the introduction, I'm pretty sure. And I think Julia, again, it's hard to say because there's thousands of episodes, but Julia is still a mainstay in many ways on Sesame Street now, which is awesome. It's not just a one-and-done lesson type of thing. Even though you're still learning about autism through her, she still is a part of the show, which is cool, because I feel like that's an important thing to note, is that just because you're different, and I think Sesame Street, no matter how they do it, has always handled it over the years, just because you're different does not mean you're not welcome on Sesame Street or you're a rare occurrence on Sesame Street. I think that's what they've always done best with the count and the different monsters. And, like, the monster song, to go back to Elmo Says Boo. That's, like, one of the earlier examples of them tackling race, in my opinion, where it's like, hey, you don't look like me. We're all different, but we're all the same because we're all monsters. And that's just the translation, the kid-friendly equivalent of humans, So there's that. I think there's a homeless kid, or like in one of the episodes. They tackle death again with Elmo and his father talking about his uncle who died. There's an incarcerated parent as well, actually, I know about. So from your perspective, seeing Sesame Street now as an adult, watching it with your kids and rewatching some of the newer stuff now and the older stuff, especially from your perspective, because I've already said my stuff, I want you to walk through to me. Has Sesame Street gotten better in regards to educating kids, not just about letters and all the basic stuff that all early kids do, but doing what Sesame Street does best and teaching about how everyone is different, but you got a place no matter where.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I was also watching the sign language episode.
Yes, you told me about that.
And first of all, I'm so interested in sign language, and I need to spend, I don't want to make excuses. I need to spend more time learning sign, especially as someone who works with nonverbal kids. It would be really great to learn some new signs and to be able to teach them.
You did take a class actually in college. I did,
but it has been so many years since, and I don't remember a lot. I remember some very, very basic signs, and I need to go back and learn more, and that's something that I need to hold myself accountable for, because I do want to learn that. That's a skill that I feel is really, really important.
Yeah, it's huge.
So getting to watch this episode and watching Elmo learn what signs were and seeing some signs that I remembered, I feel like only about half of the episode, though, was about sign language. Because Elmo's trying to find a way for, ABC Day to put on a show for, the ABCs. And he was just going to sing it, but then he meets this deaf little kid who teaches him how to sign, and so they end up doing the show together. But that was only 10 minutes long, and then the rest of it was just about letters.
Yeah.
So, do I wish more time was spent on that? Yes, but it's fine. Otherwise, yeah, I feel like overall Sesame Street does an amazing job with tackling these topics in 10-15 minute increments. Even if the episode is 30 minutes long, usually those important installments only last half of the episode. But even in that 15 minutes, they find a way to showcase some very important topics that you would not expect to see in a children's show. And that's what I think makes it so family friendly, because it starts the conversation. And that is something that's so important, is starting the conversation and knowing when to cut it so that parents can decide whether or not they want to continue that conversation and open it up.
And it's interesting because you say kid show, but a lot of kid shows, and I want to make this dissection now, so that way it's, because a lot of kid shows do tackle these topics. Static Shock, for example, is a really good show about that. DC superhero, really, really good show that tackles that racism and other type of stuff. This is an early kid show. This could be a family show, yes, but at the end of the day, it's still teaching early kids more than anything. This is still an early preschooler type of show first, compared to, kid shows. So I think that's even more impressive, in my opinion. Because, again, a lot of early kid shows won't do it. Kid shows, to step in as the media person and just correct you, in a way, as nicely as possible, will tackle these subjects. Early kid shows, I feel like, will do it less in the way that Sesame Street does.
I feel like I somewhat disagree with you a little bit. Just because I don't feel like I know any other show that is willing to dive into these topics as much as Sesame Street.
Ooh, Static Shock.
Well,
Teen
I
Titans.
never watched that. So
well, yeah. Okay, see, that's also the issue where, what shows you watched. Because if you're like me and you watch Teen Titans, Static Shock, and Avatar: The Last Airbender,
right,
especially.
But those weren't catered towards younger kids.
That's what I mean, though. Making that that's why I'm making that discretion. You're saying kids shows. I'm making the line visible between kids shows and early kid shows. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, that's what
I see your point.
That's what I'm saying, because there's a difference between early kid shows and kid shows, which we've talked about before. So that's just the only thing I'm mentioning on that.
Okay.
So yeah, you're wrong. Next question, please.
That's not nice.
Well, Sesame Street didn't teach me how to be nice. They taught me how to be accepting of everybody. They didn't say have to accept your opinions. Next opinion, please. Brings us to our next point. Despite all the evolution of the themes, let's talk about the latest thing I found out. Well, it feels like this fell perfectly on our lap. So, I follow Tough Pigs, obviously. And they brought up something about Sesame Street. And I'm like, oh, what did they do? I'm like, Tough Pigs, again, is very socially and politically accepting and liberal. So Sesame Street really had to have done something to get some attention. And it's an animated segment with Julia, actually, and her family. And they are ordering food. However, they're using AI to come up with food ideas. You can imagine why that caused an outroar. So, let's talk about that. Because for all it's worth, every show has its hiccups. This, I feel like, is one of them. I don't think Sesame Street has said anything about it yet. It's a recent, I think a couple weeks old episode.
About a month.
About a month. I haven't seen anything. I literally saw it a couple days ago, I remember. So I didn't get to see if they responded at all, the Sesame Street company. There are hiccups in the road, obviously. I get the intent with teaching for Julia. I don't think using AI was a good idea. At all. I am very anti-AI. I understand why they're trying to show how easy it is, but also too, so is just searching it up in the internet and like all that shit. I feel like it just wasn't. They shouldn't have used AI as a point in this.
I agree.
I don't like your tone.
No, I totally agree. I'm against AI. I do not like AI. I think it was weird the way that they did it, though, because they did it as, like, they were talking to Alexa or Siri, but instead they were specifically saying this is an AI robot. Which, like, if you use Siri or Alexa, I'm sorry to say, you've been using AI for years.
Yep.
But, like, I try not to use my Siri unless I literally have no hands. So I don't like using AI unless I don't even want to say unless I just don't.
No, same.
But I think it was a weird way to go about it.
And I feel like that's their way on trying to start to tackle the AI thing, like the AI subject. But I don't know if this is the way to do it, especially using it in an animated segment.
That's another thing.
That's the thing about it, because AI in animation is a huge talk. AI in film and writing and video game development, entertainment in general, I should say, is a huge talking point, let alone animation. So that's what, like, is weird and gets me about it. And I really hope somebody can mention in the comments that they responded to this and, like, either clarified or apologized or they're going to make a follow-up to this. Because it is so interesting to me how they chose to do this. I don't know if this was a forced thing by, like, somebody above them that's holding funds. Because, again, Sesame Street's cut on funds before Netflix. They really were just... The government was trying to do everything in their power to shut Sesame Street down. I don't know what the reasoning was. I don't know if they just had a brain lapse or whatever. But I feel like it's one of those rare hiccups in the show. I can't think of any other hiccup, though. Can you?
No, and I'm wondering, do we know if this is a Sesame Street / PBS thing, or do we know if it's a Netflix thing?
I don't know, because this is a recent episode. Like, recent, in the last month. So PBS
so it
funding...
could have been Netflix.
That's also the thing, though, which sucks, because you wouldn't think, of all shows, Sesame Street would do that.
No, and that's why I'm wondering if it was in their hands or if it was because of the new Netflix show.
Listen, either way, I'm really disappointed. Because, like, shame on Netflix, obviously. Fuck Netflix in general, honestly.
I'll be less mad if it was Netflix.
I'll be less mad, but I'll still be mad because A, fuck Netflix. B, I understand you need the money, and obviously funding is not there with PBS fighting for its life right now. Please support PBS if you can. It's so easy to do. Like, literally, we have PBS Passport for like $25 a month and get access to all this cool shit. But listen, I understand you want to keep your show going and keep giving education like what we've talked about beautifully to future generations. This was not it. This still wasn't. Sesame Street is not afraid to tackle these things. And it feels, you're honestly right where it feels forced, the dialogue. I don't know if it's like the animation itself or just because they were forced with the script, but it still feels forced too. And I really hope they follow up. If they're really going to keep tackling AI, they've opened the can now, they're going to do more on it, I feel like. We'll see how it goes.
Which is really, really, really sad because Sesame Street as a whole is such an important show in general. And I feel like to take this stance and to continue making episodes like this is not great. And it really, really sucks because this is just going to impact future generations.
And if it's because of Netflix, then it's the show's screwed, because what does that mean for future education now that Netflix, you're having a literal corporation / streaming company determine what you get to make just so you can keep making it? Like, there's going to be a line if that's the case where it's like, is Sesame Street going to go fully independent on its own and like really rely on like crowdfunding? Is PBS finally going to get its funding back eventually, hopefully, and they go back to that? Or are they going to be stuck at Netflix with nowhere else to go? Because let's be honest, since they're a part of the Muppet Company, what else do the Muppets have in the cat and like the works right now to help things going? Like, Sesame Street has been, even with the Muppets comeback, has been the main survivor of the early generation of Jim Henson Company, and it's that, you know, sustainability of being able to continue not just to teach kids about the basics, but evolve and teach kids social things, like how we may all look different, but we're all equal, or autism and this, evolving with how social justice and social politics are. And I hate to say social politics because basic human rights should not be a politics and a arguing point, but I digress. Like, that's, I feel like what we've been talking about is that they're not afraid in that case. Like, Follow That Bird, again, to say it outright without saying the word outright, because again, God forbid these platforms shut down our channel, which fucking sucks because it goes back to relying on corporations, even for us. Follow That Bird very clearly is like, hey, don't interact with these. You got to stay in your own lane with your own species.
Yeah.
But I feel like, knowing Jim Henson Company and how they tackle these things with other shows and just Jim Henson in general and his team, that was on purpose. That was absolutely on purpose for that movie. So, I don't know. I'm very disappointed in Sesame Street nonetheless. I don't know if there's been a follow-up. Maybe during the wrap-up, we'll do a little bit more research with a little bit more time, thankfully, and see if there was a follow-up response or another episode or something else. But as it stands right now, that's like one of the only things about the AI, and it's such a bad taste in my mouth, especially because you're using the autistic kid and the family with autism for AI.
Yeah.
Like, that's another bad thing in my mouth about it.
Yeah, and I agree with that, because that is basically saying that Julia needs AI to communicate or to learn how to do something, and we've already decided long ago and figured out long ago that she's a character who can figure out things.
Like, to draw a comparison to your kids, the iPad is not always a learning tool.
No.
It's a supplement.
Yeah.
It's a way that if they need to, it works, but it's not AI powered. It's more just for shows.
So we use two forms of iPads. One, some of them have communication devices, which is for communication.
Yep.
And the other is...
which has been way before this whole AI thing in general.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking like Stephen Hawking type of thing. I'm serious. You laugh, but I'm serious.
Yeah, it's just a way for them to communicate because they are nonverbal. It's not AI. It's just a communication device. And then we have iPads where we watch shows. Like, it's something that they earn, which I know some people have a problem with. But like, I work every week. My reward is I get a paycheck at the end of the week. It's the same thing for them. If they make development on a skill, they get to earn an iPad.
Right.
Nothing involving AI. My kids don't use AI. They just watch Sesame Street and YouTube.
And they're smart fucking kids. You come home every day with things about them. So, like, they don't need AI. Like, no. I just, it makes me so mad, and I'm so disappointed, and it's such a bummer. I really hope this isn't indicative of Sesame Street, and maybe if it is the team itself, maybe they can adapt much like they always have to the social politics of everything and do a follow-up on AI and understanding it and the negative effects of it and all that stuff. But until then, this is like one of those few, if not only, blemishes I can think of in the back of my mind that I remember. If you can think of anything else, let us know in the comments down below. But this is the only blemish, in my opinion, that pretty much goes on what Sesame Street has as a good streak record.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I think it's really sad, and I hope that this is a one and done kind of thing and we just leave it in the past. Because it'd be really, really sad to have to cancel Sesame Street.
Yeah, it would be. You had me scared going into this because I mentioned, I'm like, did you watch the AI clip? And you're like, I had thoughts, and I'm like, oh no.
No, it's just because of the way that it was worded, it made it seem like a Siri/Alexa thing, which we've all been using for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not that it's not AI, but it's not something that I think this is a whole conversation in and of itself. Like, we don't think of Siri, Alexa, Google as
they're the prototypes.
AI tools, but they are.
Yep.
And we've been using them for years, and the fact that it was kind of like
it's cushioning it.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but then they literally said an AI robot. That's what kind of threw me off because I wasn't sure how to feel about that because on one hand, we all use Siri. We all use Google.
I gotta be honest, I don't think I seriously used Siri in ages.
Well, we used to use Alexa all the time when it was in the kitchen, and now we unplugged it because we don't really use it anymore, but...
Yeah, thank God. That bitch heard me every time I fucking said something on stream.
but we used to use this stuff all the time, and if you use Siri on a daily basis and you're against AI, that's literally what you're doing, though. You're using AI.
It's up there, for sure, but...
So I wasn't sure how to feel about that because I get where they were coming from with that, but to clearly say this is an AI robot,
it's such a weird thing.
It's a weird, yeah.
It's so weird, and especially because again, you animated it. This is an animated section, so.
And I wonder if they did that on purpose because they knew that the creators behind these puppets would not have allowed this.
I don't know. That's a tough thing.
I feel like it's interesting that you decided to animate this.
I mean, Sesame Street's been doing animation for years, though, too, so...
I know, but they usually pair it with
That's
puppets.
true,
Like, they'll split up the episodes, and half of it is with puppets on Sesame Street, and the other half is animated.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But they've been doing more of, like, animated Sesame Street characters over the last few years, is what I'm saying.
Which I have thoughts on, too.
Oh, yeah.
Which this is already... We thought this was going to be a shorter episode. We are already...
This is the longest one yet.
This is the longest one yet. We're already way past the hour mark.
So, hey, it's good conversation,
honestly,
though.
Yeah, it's a really good conversation. I'm glad we're talking about this, even though, like, it is really sad to me. But we've talked about problematic things before that I have loved in the past and now no longer do. So they are conversations that we need to have.
I mean, we still love Sesame Street for what it is.
Yes.
And we really hope this isn't, like... the beginning of the downfall of something as big as Sesame Street, bowing to, like, these corporations and our current asshole in charge and all that shit. At a time where, like, it's only been a year since all this shit has started going down big time. And, like, it's been going down in the background for ages, but it's been, like, landsliding.
Yeah.
You know?
Which, like, let's look at the creator. And I think that's something that big, like, when they start getting a little bigger and start expanding, these companies start to forget is the creators and what they stood for. And I have the same issues with Disney, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, is the creators had very firm
even though Walt Disney was problematic.
Walt Disney was problematic. However, I guess we'll talk about this. When he first started Disneyland especially, and Disney in general, he made it a point that it should be affordable and it should be for everyone. And now here we are years later after he has gone and passed away, and now it costs an arm and a leg to visit a Disney park.
And Israel. And Israel.
Yes.
And AI.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Great times.
So it's the same thing. Let's think about the creators and what they stood for.
Jim Henson. He wasn't a perfect man, obviously, but yeah.
No, was not a perfect man, but he had very firm core values, and this goes against all of them.
Yeah. Say what you will about their beliefs, and, like, I'm not saying separate the artist from the artistry, obviously, but it's very interesting to look at the core beliefs of the Muppets and just Sesame Street in general and Fraggle Rock to now. And, like, we'll talk about this when we get to the Muppet shows, because this does tie into one of the Muppet shows and the firing of a very legendary performer that stepped up big time when Jim Henson passed away. We'll get to that when we get to that, but it's interesting you bring that up because it sucks. It really does. And I really hope this isn't that downfall. I really hope it's not, because it would be sad to see Sesame Street, who has been such a pillar for all these social justices and education in general, being lost in the wave of it all. I do not, like you said, want to have to cancel or turn the cheek on Sesame Street, but, AI is one thing. I'm worried about what happens next, but I also have faith because at the end of the day, it's still Sesame Street, and they always emphasize you're always learning, so we'll see. We will see. But with that being said, any other thoughts?
No, I think we're an hour and almost 15 minutes in, I think.
Who's your favorite Sesame Street character?
Good. Oh, my favorite. Okay, my favorite used to be Snuffleupagus because I like to say his name because it was really hard to pronounce. I think my favorite Sesame Street character right now.
My favorite's the left seed on the bun of a patty.
There's so many. Yes, thank you, honey. I don't know. There are so many good ones. I like Abby.
Abby's good.
I like Ernie and Bert, obviously. I love Oscar.
I'm going to give it to fucking Cookie Monster.
Oh, I love Cookie Monster, too. I love them all. It's like you with Labyrinth. I can't choose a favorite.
That's valid. That is very valid. Welcome to the hard part. But, yeah, so overall thoughts on Sesame Street and just catching up. Not even like catching up as if it's new. Yeah. Some of the stuff maybe is new or remembering, but this is more like a memory lane catch up for you now. So,
yeah, overall I loved it. I had a great time revisiting this. Honestly, would it be something that I would put on and rewatch new episodes of, even though I'm 27 years old? Yeah, probably.
Again, there's no shame in it. Again, to quote earlier, Fruit Bats goes to Sesame Street Land all the time, is having the blast of her life with her friends. No one's judging her, and if they are, mind your fucking business.
Honestly, part of the reason that I wanted to do this podcast was to have an excuse to talk about childhood favorites, but you don't even need an excuse to talk about childhood favorites. First of all, if you're watching this podcast, just talk about them with us. Second of all, even if you just want to watch them and not showcase it and talk to people about it, just watch what you want to watch. The world is crazy enough and stupid enough. It is okay to go back and watch past things.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
And yeah, Sesame Street, please, 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 for the love of God, do not fuck up. I'm begging you guys. You're the last bit of hope we have in this world until Fraggle Rock Season 3.
Speaking of...
What's next?
So, in next Tuesday episode, we are going to be watching Fraggle Rock. I am so excited. I think we're finally starting to get into the more lighthearted side of Jim Henson. I think we've covered all of the darker, drearier fantasy in his creation. I think we're getting more to the fun, playful side of Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
right.
I'm really, really excited. There are 5 seasons in Fraggle Rock, the first show.
Again, this is not going to be easy to catch up on all of them, but she's going to catch up on much as she can.
And then there are 2 seasons in the
Apple TV one.
Apple TV newer.
And a holiday special coming up, which is awesome. So that means season 3 is still alive, hopefully.
So what we're going to try to do is watch at least 1 season of each, hopefully more. But we'll see how much.
I will highlight some episodes too, I feel like, for you.
Yeah, I want to watch at least 1 season of each. That way we can compare them, because I feel like that obviously needs to be a conversation.
Oh, for sure. Especially because they reuse songs and revitalize them in the sequel series.
But we'll hopefully watch more than that. Either way, at least 2 seasons will be watched.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to highlight other episodes too. Like, episodes I feel like are important for conversation. So this is going to be great. We're going to go into, to quote Defunctland again, we're going to watch the show that helped stop the Cold War. Yeah, you won't believe it. You won't believe how we tie that one in, sister.
Oh, boy.
Woo!
Okay.
Can't wait.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us in the Catch-Up Corner.
We need a question. What's your favorite Sesame Street character? And also, what's your favorite piece of Sesame Street media? Any like Sesame Street memory you have? What is your favorite Sesame Street memory? It could be a special, an episode, an interaction with a character. Let us know. We're begging you. let us know.
Yes, let us know. We want to hear from you. We're sick of not having any comments.
I'm sick of speaking to air. Okay? I sit at night and I think, all right, how we doing at night? Yeah! but don't feel forced. Please do not feel forced in all seriousness.
Don't feel forced. Okay, how about this?
Oh, no.
If you don't want to answer the question,
okay,
leave a cookie emoji in the comments.
We're doing this?
Monster. Yes, because at least we'll get some... At least someone will talk to us.
We're forcing it. Ew, I hate bowing to algorithms.
We're not forcing it. We're just making people feel welcome.
They're always welcome here on Sesame Street. Unless you're AI.
Yeah.
They get the fuck out.
No bots, no AI.
Okay. Fuck you.
Either way, we love you. Thank you for watching. We will see you on Tuesday.
Down at Fraggle Rock. Bye.